who was probably licking his wounds under the sea, like all kaiju do.
I'm from the ocean floor, slept millennia or more. Now it's time for endless war. I am Kaiju.
Hello friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Today we're diving back into r/NeckbeardStories. Actually, it's from my personal subreddit, r/ReddXReads. But hey, that's all good. It's still quite delicious. I do guarantee. I haven't vetted the story myself, but it does bring to mind the Burgerbeard saga, wherein I think Zuka referred to Paul Bunyan as the first American kaiju or something like that. And that just cracked me up. It sticks with me to this very day. So when I saw the Ballad of Kaijubeard, not only is it supposedly a ballad, but it also has the Kaijubeard part, which I'm extremely curious about. So it brought to mind some good memories, and I figured that we should get this saga started up. There are 3 parts currently. Right now we're jumping into part 1, but we'll get through it all eventually. I do guarantee it. So, first things first, let's get some plugs and disclaimers out of the way, and then we will dive right into some Neckbeard cringe and see what exactly it is we got here. The Ballad of Kaijubeard, Part 1, The Neckbeard Menace. Is that a Star Wars reference? Is that what we're doing? Hello, everyone. First post here, and on Reddit as a whole. So, you know, sorry for the format or bad grammar. English is not my first language. Blah, blah, blah. I should really buy some stock in Reddit with how many people I end up dragging to this website. I discovered the videos of Senor ReddX, and consequently, the term neckbeard. Wow. I'm happy, but also sad to broaden your horizons in such a way. Don't get me wrong. In my country, this definition is not known. We know otakus and weebs, nice guys, incels, but the closest we have to neckbeard is cabasso, which I did look up how to pronounce. In fact, in recent years, I've noticed that as a teenager, I might be on this spectrum, but self-knowledge is the key to evolving as a better individual. However, maybe my story can wait. As I often tell people who pose this question to me, am I a neckbeard? If you have the wherewithal to even ask the question, then you're probably on the safe end of the spectrum, if, you know, there at all. Beard light, as we call it. The reason that I write this post is that watching these videos, especially the saga of Pajama Beard and Sir Sam, I realized that in the last few years, I had contact with a strange type, who I will call Kaijubeard, and you will soon understand why. P.S. I just realized that I was writing the sequel and noticed that Godzilla 2 came out in 2019 during my first semester. Because of the quarantine in my country, I got confused, but yeah, it was 2019. Let's go to the stars, with fake names, of this very long tale. First up is OP, that's me. At the time when these events took place, a 24-year-old guy changing studies for game development classes at university. I'm creative, good with character and world creation. I love writing, but I'm terrible with programming. That definitely sounds like the hard part to me as well. Claire, ML for Ballady, an 18-year-old classmate entering university. She liked anime and games, just like I loved drawing and creating ideas. She was very excited about the idea of being able to focus her creativity into games, so we became fast friends. She was short, 1.6 centimeters. No, bro, meters, right? I'm pretty sure. Despite saying that she looked like Owen Wilson. She was pretty and blonde, and these traits will be important later. OP cracking me up already, man. Kaijubeard, the bloody beard from these events. He was 20 years old, I believe, about 1.6 meters. He was a white and plump guy in all his magnificence. Also, he was one semester ahead of us in this university, very much a fan of Legend of Zelda, anime, and of course, kaiju movies. Well, it was the first semester of university, 2019. I was working, and during the first month at university, I was without a group, but I was interacting little by little with select people. Let me tell you something about universities here. It's common for them to separate subjects into semesters and keep taking turns and mixing classes so that they don't need to hire new teachers for more classes and don't need to build more classrooms. In this case, my class had to mix with a third semester class. I arrived tired every day because I used to work in the department of a bank, which I hated. My routine was to take a bus at 5 a.m. and go to university from 8 a.m. until noon and work up until 9 p.m. resolving customer complaints at National Wide, which I assume is the bank, arriving home at midnight, tired, but I'm also an insomniac, so with luck, I could sleep like 3 to 4 hours, and that's why I was always late. Well, I'd tell you to not quit your day job, but it looks like you're setting up the steps to quit your day job. So that's good, that's responsible. Proud of you, OP. One day, I got to university a little early, and the room was full. We were usually around 48 students in the classroom, and we had 60 seats to share among us, but today we were approaching like 80 people. I took a chair from another room, like, okay, just accept that your morning will be a little weirder. And oh, how it was. And I sat down next to the door with my back to the entrance. And then comes Claire, m'lady, who, without many options, sits in front of me with the same face as, okay, what the fuck? We were quiet, just trying to understand why our classroom was so crowded. Apparently there was a problem, and they had sent a law and order class to sit in with us. It was at this moment when a strange and very dark presence arrives in the room. Is it really? Could it be? Yes, him. I looked back and there was one more person. A fat kid with a weird smile on his face, an anime shirt and glasses, which in a game design class isn't that weird, but there was just something macabre about him. An intention, if you will. Quickly, a third semester boy across the room stood up, scaring the kid away, gesturing as if he were carrying a torch and pitchfork, threatening Frankenstein's creature. The guy, who we'll call Belmont, said, "Go away, bro! You don't belong in this class!" The fat dullard just ignored the situation because he had already seen his target, a beauteous and incautious m'lady. He realized for a second that there was no seat, losing the smile from his face to a dismayed countenance, where he was clearly processing what to do next. And then he went to the empty room next door, which Claire hadn't closed when she took her chair, and like us, he grabbed a chair, slammed it down right beside her with a smile on his face, and leaned into her. So it starts. It doesn't take a genius to understand that the third semester people already knew him, as they tried to reason with the workshop teacher to not let this guy in, because he was not from our class. Friday, who is our professor, tried to reason with this freak, but ignored it after seeing that this little shit was determined to stay in the room. So I started to draw to pass the time, but soon the situation in front of me caught my attention. Kaijubeard.
So, my lady, what a day, huh? Is this your class?
A confused m'lady. Yep. Kaijubeard.
Nice. So, my lady, do you like anime?
Milady? Yeah? What about you? Oh no. Please don't encourage him. Kaijubeard leans closer to her, and at this time, even I, 60 centimeters away from them, felt the invasion of personal space.
Yeah, well, I like a lot of animes. You like...
Insert a list of animes here, and imagine that to each title he asks, Milady just answers very shyly that she doesn't know that one, and Kaijubeard just continues asking about another one in this sequence. Then Chewy, a third semester girl who was next to Claire, and in the future she does become a great friend, tried to talk to Claire and save her from this terrible conversation, and she commented on my drawing. And then we started to talk about drawing in a more fluid and relaxed pace, leaving Kaijubeard aside with static eyes on Claire, and again processing the information presented to them. Now, I don't read minds, but it was pretty clear what the strange gears in that beard's little mind were doing.
They're talking about drawings. 3 of them said that they draw. The other girl is showing drawings to Milady. Eureka!
And with all the dexterity of a drunken hippopotamus marking his territory, he grabs Claire's hands and says,
Do you have any drawings, Milady? I would love to see yours.
Exclaiming at the end,
They must be a lot better than hers.
yeah, that's the way to do it. Just shit on a complete stranger. You're winning points fast, Beardo. I didn't know Chewy at the time, but she looked at me with a very disgruntled look. And like Claire and I, she had anxiety and self-esteem issues. So that comment was taken personally. I think anybody would take that comment personally. It's like generally a shitty thing to say. And with that, Kaijubeard asked Claire again for the things that she liked. A situation that becomes recurrent the entire semester. Kaijubeard bombarded this poor girl with questions, digging for something, anything that they had in common. And this only gets worse with time. Oh boy, strap in. These questions always yielded answers in high tones of discomfort by Claire, even a little monotonous, which she isn't actually with our little group. She was really lively and cheerful, but always good vibes and generally calm. She was just trying to brush this beard off. Another 20 minutes of me and Chewy trying to save Claire from her weeb admirer, dragging her out of the boring conversations that Kaijubeard was trying to have. Once again, Chewy makes a point, pulling out her cell phone to show Claire a mobile game. Let's talk about games. Kaijubeard again was quiet in thought until he showed a glint in his eyes. Kaijubeard was evolving. Shit. Press B. He noticed that Claire was studying game design as well, and with the confidence of a fat Nintendista who likes Samus Aran hentai, he asks Kaijubeard,
Milady, do you like games?
The three of us were just in disbelief. I could feel the irony and sarcasm levels arising from all three of us in unison, building up from that dark abyss inside of us and suddenly falling on Claire. So Claire says, yes? OP with a smile in my voice. No, man. She hates games with the burning passion of 1,000 suns. She just got into game design because she likes to do things that she hasn't before. She got into game design because that's where all the money is. That's a joke, by the way. The girls laughed at my little outburst, and Kaijubeard went quiet for a second. No smile at all. He looked at the girls' smiles, and then he laughed too, trying his best to get along with the three of us. Kaijubeard,
Well, I bet you must be really good at games, my gamer princess.
Oh, God, that one hurts. I think I just fractured my fucking spine. Woo!
Do you like Legend of Zelda?
Well, lady, do you like it? Kaijubeard?
But of course, it's my franchise.
Oh, you own it? That's great. Before he could finish,
It's my favorite franchise, blah, blah, blah.
Milady cut him off with a gruff but very calm, so no.
Oof.
That is brutal. You like it, so I can't like it now. God damn. Kaijubeard took critical damage, wounded and bewildered by the negative answer that had pierced his neck, making his beard's natural defense ineffective against this shy Amazon queen's powerful spear of irony. We were dismissed for a break, believing that the beard's morale was outright dead. Or so we thought. That's not how beard morale works. From beyond the grave, he's coming back. I want to open a parentheses to clarify a few things for you, dear reader. This was my first contact with Kaijubeard. Actually, the very first hour that I had spent with him. Claire already knew him because the day before, we had no class, but she went and stayed in his class, where he and another beard friend of his just stared at her for hours. I apologize for the long post, but I have clear and vivid memories about this fateful day, so I do hope that you're enjoying it. And I am. Very colorful, very evocative. I'm loving it. After a break, knowing each other and discussing what happened, we set up the gang. Belmont, who was the guy who tried to chase away Kaijubeard earlier in the class. D-Boy, the warlock who became my squire and partner in crime for the next few semesters. The now well-known Chewy and Claire. And we went to our next class for the day. In another room, with no sign of Kaijubeard, who was probably licking his wounds under the sea, like all kaiju do. After all,
Milady doesn't like my favorite game. How can there be any love between us after that?
The greatest insult, disliking a franchise that you happen to like. And then it happened. From hell itself, waddling down that long hallway on the floor, Kaijubeard comes. Panting and crying out at the top of his lungs.
Wait, milady!
Like a sweaty, sedentary thunder. Running, rushing to catch up with us and cling to the side of Claire like an oversized, pale, chubby leech. OP, dude, don't you have a class to go to? Kaijubeard.
No, I sweat a lot more than the teachers, and it's the workshop that you guys did earlier, and I already did it with you guys. Plus, I'm a YouTuber.
God.
So, I'm already more successful than anyone in our classes.
Oh boy. I'm highly skeptical of anyone who pops out and they're just like, I'm a YouTuber. Like, yeah, it's my job too. But what do I say when people ask me what my job is? I said it a few videos ago. It's a personal matter. That's right. Because the next question is going to be, oh, what's your channel? And that's always awkward. OP, okay. So if you've won so much in life, why are you here with the mob? By the way, say it for the people in the back. What's your channel? He ignored my first question and arrogantly sent the name of his channel. His actual channel? Oh boy. Which today has 2,000 followers. Well, that's not too bad, I guess. On this channel, he posted dinosaur sound effects. What the fuck? Nintendo content, imitations of other YouTubers, reacts, anime event videos where he cosplayed as Link, Fat Link, and more stuff. But let's leave that mystery to part 2. Sitting at our table, across from me, at Claire's side, like the devil meme tempting the little girl in Santa Claus 1959. Jesus, OP, that's a deep cut. I'm gonna have to put that picture in so people know what's going on. We went into class, and with that, the third semester students started making fun of him with all the things that, because they studied with him 6 months earlier, they knew would upset him. Making fun of his cosplay of Link, a shield and a sword made of cheap plastic, basically a children's toy, a green shirt with jeans, a belt with spikes, and a green cap, asking how his channel was going. So, I don't participate in that. At this point, he was already a nuisance, but I hadn't seen the cosplay or what he was doing on the channel, so I just thought it was mean of the others to mock something that the guy put effort into. So naive of me. I mean, that's a good starting position. That's about where I would be at if I knew nothing about him, but my opinion would slowly but surely start to shift after knowing him for just a little while. One of the students mockingly asked how the video with Godzilla was going. Some of them laughed. Claire and I didn't understand. Ignorance was our blessing. Suddenly, Kaijubeard rose from his seat with an agility and suddenness that seemed inconsistent with the pink fat blob that he was, although now he was a vivid red. He stood up and shouted,
I'm gonna fucking kill every one of you if you keep laughing or talk anything more about my cosplay and my channel.
You did this to yourself. Why can't you see? The room was quiet, looking at the madman standing up in the middle of it, including the teacher who, at that moment, had probably accepted that, teaching or not, he would already receive his payment. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. For me, a guy who, before 11 a.m. was already mentally stressed and still had to go to work after this bullshit, and all this led me to throw D-Boy's backpack hard into the face of that asshole Kaijubeard, gaining his attention and getting no reaction. OP. Okay, big guy. First, you're not from that class and you shouldn't even be here. Second, consider the damn tone of the room in which you are speaking. I'm not deaf, and looking at everyone else here, it seems like everybody hears really well. Third, you're breaking into our class all day to hit on a girl who doesn't give a damn about you and disrupting a 50-person class. So sit your fucking ass down in the bloody chair and shut your bloody mouth. Kaijubeard tried to mumble a but, so I raised my voice again, and this time I rose to stand against him, to intimidate him, using my 5 centimeters taller than him to my advantage, somehow. OP, but the fuck? Grow up! You just said loud and clear that
you're gonna kill everyone here
in front of a fucking teacher who's quiet and doing nothing and in a room with 4 cameras. Try to do something and see if we don't all beat you up until you want to die. I fucking dare you. Now, sit quietly in that goddamn chair or get out of here, edgy boy. Hot edge on edge action. You'll be edging so hard. Never mind. Kaijubeard chose to sit down in silence. I apologized, begrudgingly, to the teacher, and the class started celebrating while I left to fill my water bottle. In my mind, I made the move. He would want to stay in the room next to Milady and be with her, and he would have to keep quiet, which, for a neckbeard, is still better than nothing, and not disturbing the class anymore for 40 minutes that day. And he couldn't do anything against anyone who was in the class, especially with everybody now watching him. I tried to calm down after getting my blood boiling like that, filling the water bottle, walking around the floor a little, with some satisfaction that I had at least put an end to the situation. But, as the first season finale of a series of unfortunate events would say, that's not how the story goes. I went back into the classroom. Kaijubeard was thankfully still being quiet, less red and sniffling, but his eyes were swollen from a crying that had already ceased. I thought it was weird, but he was pretty calm aside from that. Finishing class, we walked Claire to her place to make sure that Kaijubeard didn't follow, and I left for work. And so, this is how I ended my first contact with this beard. But it is not the last contact with him. I found out the following Monday that Claire, with all the mercy of her young, dumb heart, felt sorry for him when he started to cry quietly on her side, saying that
They only made fun of him for having a slight degree of autism.
something that would become his shield for any and all crap that he did. So she gave him her phone number. Oh no! Which gave Kaijubeard access to chat with her whenever he wanted. So our nightmare continued throughout the semester. Sorry for the size, but I hope you like the cringe. Well, I showed you what I went through for just 4 hours. And honestly, I do feel better sharing this story here. And since it's a closed story in real life, I know that I'll be splitting it into 2 more parts. The continuation of this semester, including the dark origins of the profane name Kaijubeard, and the final part, the fall of Kaijubeard. TLDR, I went to university to study game design, but then my class was invaded by a neckbeard who, for 4 hours, tried to hit on the new girl and failed completely. The girl and I joined a group of friends, yet Kaijubeard continued to try and chase this girl, and while being mocked by the class, he threatened to kill everyone, forcing me to snap him back to reality so we could all study in peace. He made the girl feel sorry for him after crying, and she ended up giving him her phone number, and he started tormenting her and the rest of our class for the entire semester. Anyways, until part 2, have a nice day/week. Oh, what a boatload of cringe we have been delivered today. Blessed be every last one of us. What a terrible day to have eyes. God damn, Kaijubeard. I don't doubt that he is on the spectrum, but to see him using it as leverage for different things like this, trying to get this girl's phone number, flexing his YouTube account, which, by the way it's described, is severely lacking, like, direction. Doesn't know anything about branding. He's just like, I'll slap all this stuff up here. And maybe people did subscribe for, like, the anime convention footage or whatever, but he never delivered more of that footage, so his channel couldn't grow, something like that. He did get to 2,000 subscribers. That is more than a lot of people out there would be able to do, so I gotta give him some props on that. But to walk around, flex that, say verbatim that it makes you already more successful than anyone in our class, like, you don't think people are gonna call you out on that, bro? Jesus Christ. If you want to be a YouTuber, bro. You don't need a game design class to be a YouTuber, okay? But you do need to have focused content that isn't like, what is it? Dinosaur sound effects alongside Nintendo content. Like, nobody even knows what the fuck is going on with this channel. Of course they're not going to come back for more content because they don't know what to expect. Yeah, but I'm sure I'm wasting my breath. Even if I sat down and tried to explain it, I'm not sure that this dude would, like, fully grasp any of it anyways. Part of me shocked that he made it to the 3rd semester of a game design college. Brazilian game makers have put out some bangers, okay? Chroma Squad, it's like one of the best games I've ever played. Like, turn-based tactical RPG. I play Horizon Chase all the time on my Switch. That is from Brazil. Heavy Bullets, oh, that's a classic. God damn. The game feels low budget, but they kind of embrace that, and that's a beautiful thing. I love that. Hope to see some more good games coming out of Brazil, but I know that they are not going to have Kaijubeard involved with them. Sorry, it's just a fact. People would likely be way more willing to help you if you approached your YouTube channel and your game design career with a bit more humbleness, you know? Don't come out of the gate with, oh, my 2,000 subscriber YouTube channel makes me more successful. Like, are you sure, though? I do have my doubts about OP's, like, monologue towards the beard. Really, what actually happened is he probably threatened to kill everybody, and then everybody just laughed at him. But I'll definitely be looking forward to digging more into the twisted psyche of Kaijubeard.
If you don't reciprocate my feelings for you, then maybe you are autistic, milady.
Nope. Nope, 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 nope.
The Ballad of Kaijubeard, Part 2. The Kaijuphilia beard rises. Oh, philia. Why do we have to throw that in there? It was weird enough when he was just into kaiju, like, as a thing. Not sexually. Oh, God. Brace yourself for this one. Hello, senoras y senores. Dom Marmalade here again. 2 days ago, I posted the beginning of Kaijubeard's saga. And as I'm on time and got into the rhythm, I decided to write part 2 of the Ballad of Kaijubeard, the neckbeard that bothered me and chased a friend throughout the first semester at Game Design University. He also has a crappy YouTube channel, which I'm still waiting for you to drop that link, OP. No, don't actually do it. Harassment on the internet gets ugly sometimes. First of all, the characters in this second part that remain are OP. It's me, 25 years old, a stressed banker, a fan of animes, games, and who loves long walks on the beach. No, wait, I mean drawing. Currently attending the first semester of game design in 2019. After 1 month of classes, I had the displeasure of meeting Kaijubeard, who invaded my class to hit on a girl, which led me to slap him with a reality check after he screamed that he was going to kill everyone. Which, after some thought, I do believe probably did happen. I know what it's like to get down to your very last drop of patience. Claire, we'll call her ML for Milady, Kaijubeard's target, a white and blonde girl, 18 years old and 1.6 meters. Attractive, cute, and shy, but very energetic over time. She was the kind of person who arrived late at 9 a.m. after taking a 3-hour trip on the bus and could still dance the floss for 15 minutes if she was happy. Also attending the first semester. Kaijubeard. The beard that generates these misadventures that we are following. 20 years old, plump and round. Wearing tight clothes that emphasized said lumps. Zelda fan, Link, cosplayer, and a little YouTuber, although he acted like he was the gamer nerd apex and a celebrity at the university. He was in the second semester, but spent more time in my classes than in his, after crying at being confronted by me using,
people only make fun of me because I'm autistic.
Kaijubeard received Claire's number out of pity. And oh boy, it was a number that he would use well. After the events of the last post, it took a few days for him to show the air of his graces again in our class, and they were good days. We were able to see content from the classes in peace, introduction to 3D modeling, learning about engines, and we were told to make a group of 5 people for the semestral project. The 5 people were me, Belmont, D-Boy, Chewy, and Claire. However, when studying the history of humanity, you realize that peace doesn't last long, and just like an oily phoenix in Cringe, the beard rises again. I arrive one day, late as usual, and I notice that there is one more person at our 6-seat table, a bloated, bizarre version of Jonah Hill. In his worst potential and state, Kaijubeard was sitting next to Claire, leaning forward as he had those few days ago. I sat down in my seat, face to face with them, said good morning to everyone, and then I asked, OP, so Kaijubeard, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be in your class? Kaijubeard, he says excitedly, with a satisfied and childlike smile that preceded an arrogant reply and an attempted flirt.
The teachers here have nothing to teach me. I'm a natural game designer. So I thought about stopping by and making Milady not feel so alone.
God, dude. This guy always with the cringe. Every sentence he says is so wild. I sent a message to Claire asking if everything was okay with her, and if, in fact, she did feel lonely. And she said that she didn't feel lonely because she was with the gang. And then, of course, Kaijubeard arrived and the situation got weird. This went on for a whole semester. I was often late, and there he was. There came a point where he wanted to walk with us on break, which seemed to make his other Neckbeard friend jealous. It was the 5 of us talking together and always trying to cut Kaijubeard out of the conversation, when somewhere in his tiny mind, he seemed to have sparked a thought. I have no idea what caused him to think that
Talk about hentai
was a good topic, or insisting that because Claire is blonde and short, Claire should cosplay Princess Zelda, and of course, go with him to an anime or Zelda event. And in the distance, hiding behind Kaijubeard, was his friend, silently looking with a can of Coke in his hand. The Coke Stalker, like that song by the Police. We totally play it, but copyright and such. One day, I arrived at the classroom during a break. I was tired that day. It was a Friday, and I wanted to go catch a bus later and get somewhere less crowded. As I was pulled from my thoughts, I noticed that everyone had left. Chewie had gone to the bathroom. Belmont, who at first showed a love interest in Claire, but nothing came of it, went out with some guys, and D-Boy had skipped class completely for health reasons. It was just Claire and Kaijubeard at our table. You'd think they're connected at the hip at this point. I said good morning to Claire, asked where the others were, and sat in my seat, headphones in, listening to Alasana, while also texting in our group chat and to my girlfriend. It was kind of part of the routine to say good morning to her when I got to university. And with that begins what was my weirdest moment in college. Kaijubeard, again, mining information that might possibly be commonalities, now confident that he was alone with Claire.
Milady, do you like hentai?
It's not going well. You can't just say that, dude. Holy hell. I try and continue listening to my music, but inside I'm like, what the fuck?
Compassion is not an option.
Really, they scream it in the song, but I can't scream it because everybody in the house is asleep. Milady says, no, but I've seen it once and it's bizarre. Kaijubeard,
it's wonderful. Blah, blah, blah.
And of course, he starts talking about all the details about a hentai, which included a ninja and a bunch of orcs, with the excitement of a 2000s kid who had just watched Dragon Ball for the first time and thought it was the best story ever. Milady, you know you just described a sexual assault scene to a girl, right? Do you think that was a good decision? Kaijubeard, realizing his mistake, again blames
his being autistic
and saying,
yeah, I must be wrong. I just said all that because I was so excited.
He's got a boner right now. All the while, OP is listening and watching this situation while listening to the music, now irritated to see this bastard talking all this shit and using a mental condition as justification of this shit again, while giving false apologies. Maybe it's because I'm the result of a mixture of ethnicities, 4 of them minorities, and I have ADHD. Something that makes me angry is seeing a person who uses a characteristic of him or her as a shield. Like, you scold a person for a mistake, like glorifying sexual abuse or threatening to kill people, and the person somehow tries to justify that with,
I have autism, or ADHD, or I'm a minority.
and thinks that that somehow nullifies the scolding, so it's okay for him to do it. So please, for the love of whatever you think is most sacred, and for your self-respect, do not use a condition of yours as a justification for doing shit and being a bloody ass. Well said, OP. We've seen it more times than just this time. The Undertale Leg beard comes to mind. And undeterred by his blunder, Kaijubeard continues. Kaijubeard,
Milady, are you right-handed or left-handed?
Milady, right-handed. Why? Kaijubeard laughing and shaking all the lard in his belly.
Me too.
What are the odds? I think it's something like 9 to 1.
Well, I'm actually ambidextrous, which means I'm good with both of my hands.
He says this while showing off his pink, obese sausage fingers.
But some things I do better with the left.
I'm still listening to my music, gulping in deep terror of what he might say next when Claire asks, like what? Kaijubeard,
Like scratching my right arm.
I let my guard down, reassured that the answer was just a bad joke, and then Kaijubeard,
And jerk off my gigantic horse cock.
Oh boy, you knew it was coming. Holy hell. It was too much for me. I had to go out to fill the water bottle and unwind my mind, while the song in my playlist translated a moment well with the shrill, why? My thoughts exactly. I sent a message to the people in the group who did not respond, so I went back to the classroom so I wouldn't leave that poor girl alone with that filthy neckbeard. I returned to my place in the classroom with the bottle full, still listening to my music, and I sat unaware of the historical and profane moment that awaited me. Oh God. Is there no end to this depravity? Kaijubeard was apparently pulling out some videos as a subject to try and discuss with Claire, whose tired, dead gaze in my direction was too expressive not to notice. Her vital energy was leaving her body by Kaijubeard's eyes. Something that Kaijubeard didn't catch, as perhaps that was the expected reaction of a female to conversations with him. And then he breaks out the big guns. Kaijubeard,
Milady, do you know what kaijuphilia is?
OP internalizing. Okay, kaiju are Japanese gigantic monsters like Godzilla. Philia is friendship or relationship with... Oh no. Run, bitch, run! Lady, no? What's that? Kaijubeard,
Kaijuphilia is when I fuck Godzilla, and when Godzilla bangs me. It's just sex.
just sex with gigantic monsters. It's a new one for me, man. He says this while pulling out a video on his cell phone. Oh God. It was loud, and we were in a classroom that did not contain only the 3 of us. I heard classic Godzilla screams, and soon after that, loud screams coming from Kaijubeard, imitating a national porn actor who became a meme here in the country like 7 years ago. This is so uncomfortable. Poor Claire. I got up again to refill the already full water bottle. just waiting for the break to mercifully end, just to have a reason to try and kick him out of class. I came back and Kaijubeard was, of course, still there. This time he's asking Claire if
Is liking traps gay?
God. I am not gonna go there. You know, I really do love that girl. She eventually became like a little sister to me. We had in-jokes and talked about the day or what we had watched. But that motherfucker, she saw that I was rather bothered too, and listening, and gave me a look of, save me or I'm taking you with me. Milady, I don't know, but OP is older. He must know how to answer that. OP, it depends. Is it wrong to be gay? Kaijubeard changed his face from a Twitter meme boy, happy, thinking that he had the sauce, to the face of someone who had seen a literal heretic. Because if there's love in both individuals, it doesn't go against any rules of society, and it's what they both want and consent to, then what's the problem? Ooh, very pragmatic answer, OP. I like it. And Kaijubeard with a pragmatic answer of his own. Kaijubeard.
So you're gay! You'll burn in hell!
Oh, God! I don't know what I got myself into, man. This is horrible. He exclaimed this while pointing at me, leaving the room exhausted and furious, shoving the seats out of the way, including the seat in which Claire was sitting, pressing her a bit against the table and hurting her a little bit. I looked at her. She saw that he had left and soon started laughing, saying, So you're gay? Lol. Now, I'm not religious, so if there's a hell, I know that I will probably burn in it for a few reasons. Being a neckbeard / nice guy in my teen years, being a riotous drunk teenager, orgies and cheating before age 20, and some simple graveyard trespassing. But all in all, I was not too concerned about the indictment of
Pope Kaijus Neckbeard a kiss, the first, the cringiest, hallowed be his name.
Still, I gave Claire some advice that day. She was too passive, and that kind of guy has to be either cut out or called out without mercy, or he will keep doing the same things and it'll only get worse. Time passed, and the Kaiju-philia meme caught on in class. Of course it did. This guy's already like a laughingstock from his super famous YouTube videos, so this is just fuel for the fire. And yes, it caught on hard. Like Prague took over Europe in the 1300s, and it wasn't good for anyone. Especially when he recorded and posted on his channel a video of himself in underwear and shirt, looking at the 3D Godzilla with lewdness in his round eyes and biting his swollen lips until he starts jumping up and down doing the piston move on the bed. Squealing and howling. Ah, the horrible singing of a wild neckbeard demonstrating love and his art, which he later took the video down for some reason that was just never established. I don't understand why people left hateful comments on this video. God. One day, Claire started dating a friend of her sister's, which was obviously a sin against Kaijubeard's love. And for some reason, she was still talking to this neckbeardy freak. Something that still now, I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard I try. Take time. It's a Linkin Park reference. I like it. With that, Kaijubeard began to show more attitude.
To prevent Milady from making the mistake of not dating him.
He started to want to hug her, especially from behind. He would then get refused and force us to give this poor girl a group hug, like a Roman turtle formation made by 4 people. And it was at this point that he tried to pierce that formation to go and hug her time and time again, which led Chewie to snap him back to reality, saying, Dude, she doesn't like you. Which resulted in him mumbling edgy things like threats, including sexual assault, against Chewie. Ugh. Which once led to Chewie taking Kaijubeard down with a shove, him standing up against her, and then her boyfriend, who was probably like 1.9 meters, put Kaijubeard back down on the ground, again, only with a bit more violence added in. Well, you'll love to see that. Realizing that he couldn't speak to Claire or physically touch her without having an escort around her watching over them, Kaijubeard made the most sensible decision that a stalker could make. Use social media and her phone number. In this, he was desperately trying to flirt with Claire via cell phone, and once seeing him touch Facebook on his cell phone, I noticed that the first name that appeared in his search history was Claire, who had not posted any profile on social networks because of him. Kaijubeard was searching for
Milady's profile.
God. If you ever needed a reason to delete your Facebook, to just nuke yourself from social media, here it is. A little parenthesis, because at this point, I've already narrated 4 months of events. And you must be thinking, why the fuck didn't they communicate this to the coordinator or secretariat of the university? Well, we had alerted the university about Kaijubeard, but they said that they couldn't do anything because his father was a big donator, and so far, Kaijubeard hasn't actually done anything wrong. In reality, the university was afraid that because he was autistic, his family would sue the organization for prejudice against a disabled person, as a teacher would later reveal to us. Oh man, how to get rid of a neckbeard. One day when I arrived at university, I saw the class had the door closed, and that maniac was standing at the door, which had a small glass window, and was looking inside. I excused myself to pass by him, and the door was locked. I knocked on the door, trying to get the teacher's attention, to try and get him to open it for me, and when it opened, this idiot tried to push/knock me down to get in. Like a dog out in the rain or something. I pretended to lose my balance to throw him against the door, and because of this, he banged his rib against the door handle. I was pleased to cause him some pain. I walked in, but the teacher, who was also tired of having the cheap version of Jack Torrance obsessing over a girl in the room as she slowly lost her composure, managed to stop him. Teacher,
You're not from this room. Do you have any business here?
Kaijubeard,
I want to talk to Milady. She's my girlfriend.
Teacher,
Do you want to talk to him, Claire?
Claire, who I hadn't noticed until I got to my chair, had an intense and serious look of disgust directed at Kaijubeard, one that I had never seen her give off before. No! And I'm not his fucking girlfriend because he'll never have one.
Evisceration.
It is a hilarious situation, but I always have to pause and remind myself that in the back of my mind, neckbeards are dangerous when cornered. I do hope that this all turns out alright for Claire. Kaijubeard still tried to enter, but when he noticed that the teacher was already closing the door and locking him out, and then going to her tablet to call building security, Kaijubeard knocked on the door, kicked, thrashed against the solid wall beside the door, trying to get my attention, all the while shrieking like an exorcised demon. And not the physically fit exorcised, mind you. And then he was grabbed by 2 security guards and taken away. Good. Put him in the gulag. At the break, Claire explained that the night before, Kaijubeard had threatened to kill himself if she didn't hook up with him, and that he would do it for her sake, so
she didn't hook up with a guy with a small penis who would only use her for sex.
The irony is always so strong.
Because they would betray her and treat her like an unhappy whore.
And he insisted that
he knew how to satisfy her, that she could be his Princess Zelda.
Oh, God. Oh. What am I going to say to that? Oh, Jesus. Claire denied him, saying that this was wrong in many ways, and that she didn't realize how bad she was for his mental health. He was a guy that she barely knew. They had nothing in common, and he kept threatening to kill himself so that she would dump the guy that she liked for him. Apparently her sincerity was enough to wake up the nice guy all over this Neckbeard and make him launch a torrent of abuse at her, and she finally blocked him. We didn't see Kaijubeard for a week or two, and again, we had peace, until he came back again, like Ganon, the giant pig demon from The Legend of Zelda. A very apt description. Kaijubeard never disappeared from our lives for good. Well, except for one last piece of direct contact. We walked down the hall, and there he was, completely dressed in black, with a black sweatshirt and a hood over his head. Very Palpatine style. Darth Kaijubeard the Horrendous was back. Talking to his only friend and watching our group at a distance. What can go wrong with an out-of-control young man dressed in black, head to toe, standing in a study building? As an American, this makes me very uncomfortable. We went to the computer lab after the break, and Kaijubeard entered, pulling up a chair, seeing that I was isolating Claire. On one side she had me, and on the other side was a wall. And he had already put a chair behind her. The five of us were trying to discuss the final details of our project, and he was trying to win back the girl that he never had. Kaijubeard,
"Milady,"
he muttered.
"I'm sorry."
We ignored what he said, and Chewie brought up some bug with the attack animations in the project, which was a beat-em-up game. Kaijubeard insisted.
"Milady, I'm sorry for offending you."
Since apparently that was the only fucking mistake he had made.
"I really wanted to keep our relationship."
Milady turns to look at Kaijubeard, looking over her shoulder in a very passive-aggressive tone. "Just for having offended me? You don't mean, I'm sorry I stressed you out, took away every fucking minute of peace in the classroom, and screwed up my studies? Nothing gives you a right to be that much of a dick." At this point, Kaijubeard released his standard excuse.
"I'm autistic and don't know what I'm doing. I'm sorry."
But this time, with an addition, because in his words,
My father was dying in a hospital that day."
Something that took all of us by surprise, but in the last part, I will reveal whether that is true or not. Place your bets. I know what I'm betting. And that disarmed Claire, who reluctantly forgave him. Don't! God damn it! Letting her guard down a bit, but not removing the block that she had on her cell phone. Once again, as we tried to solve our project problems, it was May, and we had to show this project in June. Kaijubeard was excited, trying to make conversation with Claire for the last time. Kaijubeard,
"You're beautiful. And did you know you're beautiful to me?"
Lady. Realizing that praise wouldn't work in winning the beautiful maiden, Kaijubeard decides on a move that he hasn't made in 5 months. Pretend to listen and ask her something about her, which is a good strategy, especially on a first date. People love to talk about themselves. Kaijubeard,
"How's your relationship, milady?"
Milady, it's going well. It wasn't, because of fights at the beginning of the relationship, but she realized that saying that it wasn't going well would give Kaijubeard morale. Kaijubeard,
"Oh, nice. So, any chance of you, being mine?"
Smooth operator. OP, what the fuck? Milady, nope, but we can be friends. She was lying about that, making me as proud as a mother. Kaijubeard,
Okay, I'll stay in the friend zone. We'll be just friends with no other intentions, but, if you wanted to suck my...
Milady. Okay, not even friendship anymore. Chewy. Dude, fuck you. We're trying to discuss something serious and all you do is get in the way. At that moment, I started to put my stuff in my backpack and I told the group that we could use the laboratory in the other building where we had access and it was more empty, being 2 blocks away from us, and we would try to lose Kaijubeard on the way. I asked the teacher if we could leave, which he had already allowed at the beginning of the day, because these last classes of the month were basically only to finish our projects. OP, guys, let's go to the park nearby to kill some time. Everyone accepted, knowing my plan, including Kaijubeard, who hadn't been invited, but I was counting on that. And with that, we left, with our Neckbeard in tow. On the stairs, I remember that Kaijubeard still asked Claire 2 things that kinda caught my attention. Kaijubeard,
do you want to go to the movies later, milady? And Godzilla 2 came out, and I really want to see it.
God, you know he's gonna jerk it in the theater, right? Milady, who dislikes Godzilla, you have to see if everyone can. Some people, like OP, work in the afternoon. Kaijubeard,
No, you don't understand. Just the 2 of us.
Milady, I don't want to go on a date with you. I'm dating someone else, remember? Kaijubeard,
No, it's not a date. My friend would go also.
he was referring to the Coke Stalker.
And that would be the 3 of us, so it wouldn't be a date. Also, because Coke Stalker has no experience with women, you could teach us something.
Just what I always wanted, to tutor a social reject on how to be a normal human being. Yeah, hard pass on that one. I see silence ensues as we descend the escalators in our building, and one last desperate question comes up. The ultimate effort to bring Milady into his arms and try and discover
a possible thing in common that would totally change the course of this story in a way that we had never before seen.
Or, probably not. Kaijubeard,
Milady.
Milady, yes? Kaijubeard,
So, I've been thinking, do you have autism?
confused Milady. Huh. No? Why? Kaijubeard,
Not even a little?
Milady, no. But again, why do you ask that? Kaijubeard,
People with autism often do things that they have no idea are wrong or bad for them. So, I was thinking, if you don't reciprocate my feelings for you, then maybe you are autistic, milady.
OP. So her free will is not something to be considered in your analysis about why I'm not getting the girl? Kaijubeard,
I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense to me. I did everything I could. I was nice to milady. I asked her what she likes.
How do nice guys think sex works? Where's that meme? Ah, there it is. Never been more accurate. OP, a person doesn't have to like you if you did something nice for him, man. Likewise, you shouldn't do something nice expecting some sort of fucking prize. Life doesn't work like that, D-boy. And you didn't do anything nice for her. You broke into the class and chased her down all the hallways and bathrooms. Something that he actually did several times in the semester. And once at the end of class, he tried to enter the ladies' room when he thought that only Claire was entering. Oh God. He was kicked out by Chewy, making me understand why women always go to the toilet in pairs. Trolls and neckbeards, my friends. Well, I just learned something new. I hadn't considered that at all, but yeah. It's not all about gossiping around the mirror, okay? Safety first. Kaijubeard fell silent, And after 2 blocks, one of them being uphill, we arrived at the other building on campus. We were 5 idiots, followed by our fatso Palpatines. The plan was simple. Using the pretext that getting to the park was faster, we needed to cross through Building A, where we had just arrived, and cross the intersection to Building C, and then across the avenue to the park entrance. Only in Building A, we would leave Fatso Palpatine behind because of one small, glorious detail. Our passes, which work through a mobile app, allowed us through the turnstile of Building A. But Kaijubeard didn't have a pass, because he had been away for over a week. This was a failsafe that always occurred in the absence of a student, which forced the student to contact the secretary and get a provisional pass. Kaijubeard had a temporary pass, which worked in Building D, which was ours, but it did not give him access to the entire campus. Oh, this is a big brain play right here. While he waited in line to take another pass, he asked us to wait, and we followed down the main hall, taking the elevator up to the labs on the top floor. Because students from one building hardly ever went to the other, and I had already studied journalism in Building A, so I knew the layout of the place. I knew that Kaijubeard wouldn't be able to find us, and so, through our subterfuge, we were able to discuss in peace our project and finish it that week, finally being able to focus on the task at hand. We had very little contact with Kaijubeard after that, mercifully, and I think because that was the time of exams and grading, we took the exams, and we left shortly after, since no one needed a grade, and with that came a concern. As I said in the previous post, the university mixed classes between semesters, so the risk of Kaijubeard ending up in my class, and consequently in Claire's class, was quite great. TLDR, with the university's blessing, because his father had paid and they didn't want to be sued, a neckbeard annoys a passive milady and consequently her friends for the entire semester. He tries to show her hentai with explicit sexual harassment, as well as videos of him screwing Godzilla, and vice versa. He followed her to the women's bathroom, made sexual comments directed at her, and he also continues to use the excuse that I'm autistic to justify these actions. He also exposed his nice guy side when he saw that his chosen milady was dating someone else. In the end, he tries to justify all of this to himself, that because the girl doesn't accept him and he wasn't able to find a similarity between them, his theory was, I think she's autistic too. This was the second part of the Ballad of Kaijubeard. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry for the length of this text. There's only one more part to this trilogy coming in the next few days. It is shorter, and this is where I'll show you the ending that Kaijubeard had at our university, and also a deeper look into this cringe chasm that Kaijubeard is. Peace. I gotta wonder why he's so into Godzilla specifically. This isn't Kaijubeard, this is Godzilla Beard, because there's so many other kaiju that you could choose from. What about Mothra? She's pretty, also a girl. Oh boy. All that brings me back to the question about traps, and then I have to wonder if he knows that Godzilla is most likely a boy, at least according to co-creator Tomoyuki Tanaka. And that's getting it straight from the horse's mouth. So if you're gonna be into kaiju and also bash gays for some reason, I really don't know where this guy's head is at, dude. Like, what an absolute mystery. Just a super mixed up person, and it is sad in a way, but also it's really hard to find any sympathy for the dude. Even when this girl is like clearly giving him the brush off, he tries to follow her into the fucking bathroom. What is that about? Oh God, that makes me so uncomfortable. And I'm also super frustrated by the university's response to it. They're basically like, well, she hasn't been assaulted yet, so it's not a big deal. It's like, yeah, dude, yet. What a horrible situation. I'm super glad that Claire was able to find her voice, stand up. She even gut punched him like in the first part, but he pulled out that autism excuse, my dad's in the hospital or whatever, and she's like, oh, okay, I'll give you one more chance. And then he blew that chance like immediately. It's just the funniest thing ever. Oh God, I can't wait to see the fall of Kaijubeard. I'm hoping for some fireworks, man. These are the kind of people that we need to ostracize from society, launch them into space. We don't even want him here on Earth, honestly. Because he is just that weird, just that creepy. If he hasn't assaulted somebody yet, him and his Coke Stalker friend, then it's just a matter of time. It is really scary stuff if you stop to think about it for too long. So I ain't gonna. I'll enjoy the cringe. We'll have a laugh. I hope that it turns out all right for Claire, but we'll find out in the third and final part. Oh, well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
Why do my actions have consequences?
The Ballad of Kaijubeard, Part 3. The Last Encounter. Goodbye, Kaijubeard. Goodbye. Good riddance. Hello, everyone. Dom Marmalade here, bringing the last part of the Ballad of Kaijubeard, the neckbeard of my university and terror of my friend group. Here are the first 2 parts. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. They're in the description if you haven't listened to them yet. You could also read them on Reddit, but why do that when I'm right here reading it for you? This part will be a little different. Only I, the narrator and observer of this profane neckbeard that I found, and Kaijubeard, the profane neckbeard in question, will remain relevant. There are some other minor characters, but I think it's better to introduce them during the story. Warning! This part has mentions of Kaijubeard trying to have a relationship with a minor. Nothing physical actually happens, but if an adult flirting with a minor triggers you, as it should, read up until the part where I finish his story at university, before I start to stalk him, fearing some sort of revenge. Oh, beard venge. Edit. After watching the part 2 video, I decided to censor some terms because I'm trying to help out Mr. ReddX's monetization. Bro, you don't have to censor yourself for me. I go balls deep on this shit. I don't give a single fuck. Listen to me. Demonetization happens, but I got beautiful patrons backing me up. I can afford like 2-3 demonetized videos a month. No sweat. Anyways, well, it all comes to an end, and this story is no different. After a turbulent semester, we were on vacation and waiting for the next semester to start. I was still working in a banking department, and my friends at the university were enjoying life and looking for other jobs. These were calm days, especially since I was able to sleep more than my usual 4 hours, and I only had to deal with my The Office IRL. And with the end of vacation coming, a fear returned. The Office IRL? Who are you, OP? Are you the Jim or the Dwight? I call Creed. We received the news about our class, which for the first time would bring together 3 classes from different semester in just one classroom. Ugh, cheapo college. Tried not to hire professors or run too many classes. Kaijubeard would become a permanent member of our class, much to the dismay of my group and Claire, as we could no longer send him to his actual class, because this was his actual class. Claire had a problem with documents, and days before had to appear at the university, and by some incredible divine irony, Kaijubeard was there, with his father, the same one that he said was dying in the hospital. I think I called that out in the last video. Total bullshit. Claire said Kaijubeard saw her, but was strangely nervous, along with his furious father, who was arguing in a vivid way with the clerk. Probably some colorful language there. He ever so politely asked her to call the teacher who ran Kaijubeard's class the previous semester. Not wanting to be bothered by Kaijubeard, Claire just finished what she had to do and got the hell out of there, seeing the teacher was arriving to answer Papa Kaiju. Classes were back, and with that, we were back to the usual rush. 2 weeks and no Kaijubeard showing his lumpy glory. With that, we were curious, but yeah, life goes on. It wasn't until the end of the first month that I saw Kaijubeard, trying to get into the college through the turnstile, creating a scene and then going over to the secretary. Was his, pass not working, or is he just too fat to fit through the turnstile? I explained what I saw when I returned to the group, and with that, minutes later, a member of the secretariat arrives, calling the teacher, who was the same one that had spoken to Papa Kaiju. Karma is an interesting thing. The teacher went briefly absent, but returned minutes later and continued the class. During the break, we went to talk to the teacher and ask about Kaijubeard. She told us that Kaijubeard was no longer enrolled in the course, having repeated the semester since he didn't do anything in class because he kept chasing Claire. Oh, well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. Papa Kaiju went with Kaijubeard to the university before classes returned, trying to fix the
mistake
that Kaijubeard said the teacher made against him simply because she hated him. Say it all together now.
For being autistic.
God, it's like his one go-to defense. If I find out he's not actually autistic, I'm gonna have an aneurysm. Well, the teacher replied that Kaijubeard didn't do anything in class, and because of him, Coke Stalker and friends had also failed the semester, as Kaijubeard,
the natural game designer,
didn't even have the common courtesy to do his part in the group project. He's a natural. No, but really, he's never going to make it. Game designers, game coders, some of the hardest working sumbitches out there. I salute each and every one of them, especially because I love Vidya. She even told us that Papa Kaiju tried to explode with anger in defense of the son, who stammered that
the teacher just wants to harm him.
And with that, she revealed that before the end of the semester, she called Kaijubeard out of the classroom and warned him about the critical situation that he found himself in, that he would end up failing this semester. And Kaijubeard's response was something that, despite being the teacher's words, I could totally see coming out of his mouth. Kaijubeard,
I don't have to worry. It's not my fault your class sucks.
Oof. That's a bad way to go about it, dude.
My dad pays for my studies here, so you're my dependent. And with that in mind, you're going to pass me.
Yeah, that's not how any of this works, son. After some arguing, Papa Kaiju removed his little monster from the university. Still, the dude was trying to break into the building. We were excited to hear that this semester would be somewhat normal, and we wouldn't have to deal with Kaijubeard anymore. In part, I was right about that. However, the following days I still saw him in the campus surroundings and at the station, especially near the exit of the bus station that Claire used. And because of that, I started to meet her, to go together, or on days that I wasn't going with her, she was very alert and took another exit. Claire's a smart chick. I like that. As time went by, he began to disappear. As for the whole group, yeah, that was the end of Kaijubeard, the human cringe. Victim of his own actions and desires, a beard's decay for dumb hubris and a simple lack of notion. But wait, there's more! Earlier that year, there was an attack on a school by students. And we had a problematic guy who, at various times, said that
he wanted to kill everyone.
One of Kaijubeard's most infamous statements, chronicled in the first day in part 1. So I thought it was good to keep an eye on him on social media, in case he, for some reason, thought about taking out the consequences of his shitty actions on all of us. That's actually a pretty smart move, I do think, OP. People like that definitely leave a trail of breadcrumbs. Look at Nicholas Cruz if you need any proof of that. And so my watch began on social media as I found out that we were from the same community. And what did I find out about Kaijubeard? Well, that the cries of, "I'm gonna kill you all," were worse on the internet, and possibly even more creepy. In the community that we were a part of, everyone in it had a problem with him too. It was a group about some games. He tried to post hentai of the characters that he found on the internet, supplementing them with sexual comments, which were of course erased by the admins, prompting Kaijubeard to post passive-aggressive comments about
how we were ruining the fun
in the group. It might be fun for you, but other people are uncomfortable. Please, keep it to yourself. You couldn't criticize his character cosplays, or the time he tried to cosplay a character in white shorts, but the only short and white thing he had was his underwear. No! Revealing his furry thighs. NOP poses an interesting query. Is it possible that a neckbeard's beard is either on the thighs or near the pelvis, Mr. ReddX? Because it was fuller than the flaky pubic beard that was on his face. Like, he looked like he had on Sasquatch cosplay pants, but they were all natural. Maybe that is the beard on the inside. The beard on the inside of your trousers. It's the one that counts. I'm running with this theory. That's fine. Calling him out for wearing his underwear as a cosplay made him angry. So Kaijubeard left the group and then started to bombard the group's admins and creators with orders
to clean up the group,
because
the filth and bullying against autistics was spoiling the group.
Being autistic doesn't mean that you get away with anything, okay? I'm very compassionate about mental divergence, but come on, dude. You gotta draw the line somewhere. This tantrum led to one of the creators to open a trial post, where Kaijubeard accused everyone of
intolerance against autists, and that the group was taken over by trolls.
And the group, including the admins, posted screenshots of his post. All his hateful comments about LGBTQ+, sexist comments about cosplayers on their posts, requests for nudes, and
just to hang out with him.
And whenever he acted aggressively against another member. The Malleus Beardificarum has spoken, and a man was burned. Well, banned at the very least, because he was indeed a full-on neckbeard. Edit. I forgot to comment that, in fact, some members were bullying him, not because of his condition, but because they realized they could get him stressed by making fun of his cosplay and drawings. Yeah, there's a few in every community. As far as I've seen, these people were banned as well. Sounds like the admins is doing their best, you know? It's hard to make a community gel. You have so many people with different viewpoints. I have learned so much from running the Discord server about how to create a community that's welcoming to everyone. Definitely not an easy thing, but yeah. Shout out to the mods for doing the most. God knows I don't have enough time in the day to police everything for myself. Anywho, on his profile, on the other hand, Kaijubeard was freaked out, posting things like,
I don't understand how the world is so unfair to me. People are effed today. There's just no love in their hearts. I just got kicked out of a group that penalized me for being myself. Today, justice was killed.
That is so over the top. I love it. Among other dramatic shit posts, after my cringe limit was reached for that day, I just went to sleep. God, I kind of want to be unconscious too after reading that garbage. Now, I have a morning habit. I wake up, check out social media, then take a shower and get ready to go out. So the next day, I indeed wake up, and I see that Kaijubeard has been irritated for another 2 hours, spitting poison and radioactivity onto his profile. And out of nowhere, I saw while scrolling his feed, a pinkish, schlong-looking thing, like a level 3 wormhole in attack position. And for some reason, hiding inside of a flashlight. Oh god, it's a dick pic? Over the course of the day, he deleted the post. Kaijubeard apologized for that to all 15 of his followers. But he said he did it because
he was very angry with his existence. so he thought it logical to show the universe his giant horse's schlong.
Which by the thumb on the side would be about 6 centimeters at most. Aw, poor Kaijubeard. That's only 2.36 inches. Was it hard? You gotta wake it up a little bit before you take a picture of it. Not that I make a habit of doing that or anything. Okay, this conversation's not gonna go well. What I will say is, poor Kaijubeard. And at this point, I was a poor cosmic horror protagonist, investigating something that should not be seen. Trying to figure out something that I shouldn't understand, and coming across the true horror through a smartphone screen. He's got a Cthulhu dick. Sometimes you stalk an out-of-control person who can harm you or someone you like, and you just come across a raging micro-schlong. Oh, God. OP out here trying to look out for his friends and classmates, and he just gets hit in the face with a micro-penis. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. The weirdest things happened on his account, because there, Kaijubeard was in his own dimension, free to post all the dirty things and kinks that he liked. Uh-oh. It was like a casual dive into DeviantArt. Cosplayers, hentai, inflation, women in used diapers, furry, and a weird fixation on women throwing up, among others. Jesus, he is a freak, man. This is where the abyss starts to get dark. Odd to say this after writing that I saw his schlong in the previous paragraph. Buckle in, boys. I don't remember which month, but it was the end of 2019. I already had trouble remembering that the events were 2019, not 2018. So the passage of time or events in this story were weakened because it was something that I saw from afar. Studies were going really well, by the way. Aside from the micro penis haunting my mind. But finally, something caught my attention. Kaijubeard was changing. He had something new in mind. Do you remember The Office, how Michael Scott behaves when he finds out that an employee was homosexual, and he comes to the strange conclusion that he has to hug and forcibly kiss the employee to show that he's not homophobic? So it was like that, but something worse. Somehow, Kaijubeard came to the conclusion that he should treat men, women, and members of the LGBTQ community equally, which would be nice if it didn't mean that he was now treating everyone the same way that
He already treats women.
And to make matters worse, there were some very suspicious posts about
He was looking for a little girly boy for him.
and that,
He would love to be with a girly boy.
Jesus, Kaijubeard, what are you doing? OP's internal monologue was as follows. Okay, now I know that Kaijubeard seems to have moved on from the exile from the university, but he was clearly now focusing on something else, and I should keep an eye on this shit just in case something happens. And as I feared, shortly thereafter, Kaijubeard found a girl who was 13 years old. Oh, fuck, man. Couldn't find a girly boy, so he just found, like, a literal girl. A fucking child. I hope he dies. I can't tell if she was a legbeard, but from the photos, definitely a weeb. And soon came the posts after that. I already had seen it coming from predators. Once between 2017 and 2018, I stopped a 30-year-old predator from doing something with a 13-year-old girl. So again, I was planning what I should do if these red flags went up. I found the girl's parents' profiles on social medias, and then created one fake account to alert them if needed. OP big brain all the time. Good boy. Kaijubeard posted things like,
You're so beautiful. I think I'm in love. Where are we going to see each other? I'm planning to give you something big.
Ugh. What an absolute fucking dirtbag. The level of not just sexual insecurity, but just insecurity with who you are is shining so brightly here. He can't impress anybody his age. Nobody wants anything to do with him. So he becomes a predator and preys on children, literal children, who are obviously just impressed by the fact that he can like fucking buy beer and drive. It's setting the bar pretty low. She once posted a photo that tagged him, and she was doing something that was one of his strange kinks. But once he commented on a picture of her,
"You're so sexy. I'm excited for our date."
Man, she was a fucking kid. And that beard, for some sick reason, thought it was okay for a 20 to 21-year-old man to say,
"Yeah, she was sexy."
And that it was okay to date a minor. And so, I acted, as you should. I messaged the mother and the father, warning about Kaijubeard, with screenshots of his posts. I sent his profile, and advised that they should look at their daughter's private messages with Kaijubeard, or at least talk to her about it, because it was the same guy who kept harassing the girls that I was in groups with in real life. I have no idea what went on between her parents and her, though I do hope they're okay. What I do know is that the girl posted at him, although I don't know whether that post came from her or her parents, and she was criticizing the fact that he was hitting on a minor, and warning him that if they ever did something to their daughter, that they would call the police against him. And again, Kaijubeard was pissed. Nobody cares about your feeling, Kaijubeard. He tried to comment that
he thought the girl was beautiful and that he loved her.
Soon after that, he started posting a bunch about
being depressed and wanting to kill himself.
I only hope the worst things in the world for him. For a second, all that made me feel kinda bad, but only for like half a second, because then I remembered that he was the guy who openly posted very crooked things and hentai and things about kinks involving minors. Ugh. I don't know much about what happened to him after that, except that he started a job at a car dealership, and then he got fired, saying that
he was gonna kill his father and mother and grandfather.
Over and over again. Might be for the best. Chop that family tree down. Our gene pool will be cleaner for it. And then so began this global situation of the C virus. The classes in 2020 were moved to a social distancing mode, and it was basically the end of the entire Kaijubeard saga. I finished my studies and got fired after some staff cuts from my old job. Now I'm looking for another job in the field that I want. About Claire,
Milady.
She ended up dropping out of college last year, but seems to be happy just living with her boyfriend. As for the Kaijubeard, I stalked him while I wrote this to see how he was doing, and it seems that he has changed at least a little bit. He stopped talking about his kinks and now seems to be interacting normally, so I hope he learned his lesson. TLDR, I stalked a neckbeard, so I must say, watch out for neckbeards. They can look harmless or ridiculous, but if you give them the chance, they can go wild. Sound advice. Kaijubeard was the typical neckbeard, doing shit to
get women,
whom he claimed to love, but didn't actually care about, claiming to be
a nice guy,
while just endlessly harassing them, in addition to the habit of hiding behind the
"I'm autistic"
excuse. In the end, I'm just happy that at least nothing tragic happened. It was more just annoying and cringe. I still have a few stories, like my dark days as a teenager, orbiting the nice guy / neckbeard spectrum. Today, I'm just an idiot who wants to live his life in peace, creating games, telling stories, and rekindling some old school friendships that I couldn't maintain due to my old routine. So, good week to everyone, and I'll see you next time. Well, I am super sad that that did not go a hell of a lot worse for Kaijubeard. He honestly deserves nothing, pain and misery. Although he does seem to be inflicting it on himself well enough, Some people might be like, oh, I'm glad he's finally getting it together. But yeah, if you truly believe that, I've got a bridge that I would like to sell you. This guy has not gotten it together. He's just taken it underground. I guarantee he is up to the same weird shit because people don't just drop that. You know what I mean? I don't know if he belongs in jail or anything like that. Part of me thinks that he does, but the other half of me is like, well, he's basically just torturing himself. To be clear, I do want redemption for Neckbeards. If he had not gone after a 13-year-old girl, I'd be like, yeah, I'm super glad that he's doing well. But that's the straw that breaks the camel's back for me. There's very few things that I'm like, okay, that's it. You deserve nothing but misery. And that is definitely one of those things. And I gotta also say, big props to OP. Keeping an eye on this thing, informing the parents, that is some amazing stuff. You definitely deserve a round of applause. And I hope that the comments section will give it to you because that child will definitely look back at that situation and acknowledge that you saved her from a fate worse than death. Maybe that's a little overdramatic, but maybe it's not. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed the saga. I hope that you like, comment, and or subscribe. If you did, maybe share the video around. If that's something that you dig on, I definitely appreciate it. Super cool thing to do. We've also got a bunch of links in the description. Mine and my wife's channel, Mr. and Mrs. ReddX. We're posting vlogs over there semi-regularly. We got the Teespring if you're trying to rock the merch, my Amazon affiliate link, which gives me a little kickback if you buy something off Amazon through that. And then we've also got my personal subreddit, r/ReddXReads. There's a lot of social medias too. Twitter, Facebook, Discord. Oh, and my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons. I'd like to thank them all as I always do. So thank you very much. Calvicus, Fatboy Shrimp, Robert Waits, TSM Kirby, Aaron W, Twisted Child, Delicious Jelly Donut, Candy Sora, Fire Drake, Livison, Mr. Anime Manga Fan, Silent Revolver, Zero MMX, Magdala Marshall Thornrose, Little Lone Wolf, Vanilla Mel, Ralph Stour, Satori, Babsy-kun, Caustic Fox, Disposable Waifu, Aaron Lennox, Fisher Dicky, Hadrian BR, Heathcliff, OG James Cook, A Pimp Named J Crisp, JM Kun, Jerry, John Hero, Miss Monday, Lord Lion-O, Jackets Rule, Melgar the Destroyer, Mirthful Baker, Mr. J, my boy Natwin Nick, Lady Nix, Origami Steve, Katykins Elizabeth, Sidestep, Cider Drinker, Serrated Ass, Siegfried, Synaptic Boomstick, Brilliant Tamago, Tato Ferret, Teddy the Police, 10-Ton Monster, That Duck and Bug, The One True Fusky, Treeberg, Wilmax, Redwind, Goose Says Honk, Leon Embers, Naga Viper, John Endors, A Normal Joe, Amira, A-Roxers, Cake Jerry, that's a different Jerry, Cinnamon Bunny Dog, KJW, Kajow, Crafty Kitty Cat, Little Ann Woods, Mark 211, maybe next time, Milk-Fed Gimp, Miss Duchess, Origami Cam, Princess Rosalie, Ghosty, Raptor Art, Ellie, The Last Shinobi, and the Necrobomicon. Thank you guys so very, very much for supporting the channel in the way that you do. It does mean the world to me. I do hope that some other people will consider joining up on that Patreon, but if you can't do it right now, friends, don't sweat it too hard. I just appreciate you coming on through, hanging out with me, and I hope that you'll come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow. In order to do so, you need to keep yourself safe out there, wash your hands, but also take some time out and do something that you personally enjoy today. Maybe like watching some more ReddX videos. It's a good idea. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely, definitely deserve it. I will see you in the next one, and until then, bye-bye.